Yes, good afternoon. Welcome once again to the Wake Up Guyana show. It's Friday. It's when you head into the weekend, but there's so many things to do. Those of us who work in and understand what it is that is happening in the working world in this pandemic know it's a different ball game altogether with regards to working and working beyond just the Friday. It has to be the weekend and so on. So let's get right down into it. It's a Wake Up Guyana show. You tuned into the Kaieteur radio. This is Leonard Gildarie, your host. I'm going to be keeping you company over the next 2 hours or so, thereabout. That is, God bars us that we don't have a power outage, or Raj decide to sabotage us today. He needs to have an early Friday. I don't think he's going to take the chance on that. We're going to be watching him very carefully. And so, wherever you are in Guyana, wherever you are joining us from overseas, I want to say good day. Thank you for being with us, for keeping us company as usual. And we have a number of things to discuss today. Roxanne Meyer, Deputy Chief Elections Officer, appeared in court this morning. $300,000 slapped with a couple of charges. This would be in public office. I'm going to read the charges to you in a very short while as we get down into it. But she was placed on a couple $300,000 bail, I think it is. And of course, the investigations are continuing into her role in the March 2nd and afterwards, what would have played out with regards to the elections, the delays and the orders and so on. What role would she have played in the alleged fraud that took place, or the attempted fraud that took place during the past 5 months leading up to August the 2nd, where a new president, Dr. Irfan Ali, was sworn in Guyana. That elections cycle is not out of the picture yet because they are continuing to investigate. The new president has made it very clear that the people of Guyana need to get to the bottom of it for them to have an explanation what would have transpired on March 2nd and afterwards, including at the Ashman's building where the returning officer, Claimant Mingo, had his officers, the district returning officer, District 4, which is Region 4 in essence. So we are going to be telling you that in a little while. And then there's also a statement coming out here from GECOM chairperson. This is Justice Retired Claudette Singh. It's been very quiet a little while, but doing her thing. The work would continue. And this is because the police would have been asking GECOM to provide job descriptions and some other document relating to staffers to see exactly who is supposed to be responsible for what, because that's how you establish. If you step out of it, that means you overstep your boundary. They must have an understanding what your job description is. And so uh, this morning, reportedly, Desmond Trotman, a commissioner who's aligned to the opposition, the coalition, he would have made statements, questioning the release of some documents by GECOM. He is claiming that this reportedly that these documents are private and therefore would have been released questionably to the police, the CID, who's investigating this matter. You know that the DPP is taking, the Director of Public Prosecutions taking over the investigations after a number of private criminal charges would have been filed, including by politicians and so in the opposition, the then opposition. And so what you have right now is this morning, in response, the chairperson would have made certain statements. We are going to read it, but in essence, the chairperson would have gone after Trotman, criticizing him because he was seated during the meetings in which GECOM took to release those same documents. And so the GECOM chair has spoken out, and this morning Roxanne Myers appeared in court with regards to those charges in public office. So we are going to read to you that in a very short while. But let's get down to it. This morning, today we were supposed to get the at 1:30. I did ask the commander on the west bank of Demerara, on the west coast of Demerara, the west side, Region 3, and that is Mr. Errol Watts, to appear in this program here. And he did indicate to me, he says, Gildarie, I'm very happy to come on the program today and be with the people. I did promise, and we don't have any qualms, or we don't have any problems with appearing. But today happens to be a day when there's a number of important things happening in Region 3, including the visit of a minister to Parfait Harmony there. I want to say good day to Minister of Housing and Water, Colin Crowell. I understand that he's been paying a lot of attention. You would have seen yesterday, based on a request made by a resident of Prospect Housing Scheme under the East Bank of Demerara. That's a new housing scheme. Minister of Housing, Minister within the Ministry of Housing, Susan Rodriguez, would have gone across there to Prospect, and she would have visited. So let us see what happens with regards to what comes out of Parfait, but there were a number of complaints, including the water pressure there. People would have been complaining, so he is across there. So let's go very quickly into the front page of the Kaieteur newspaper, because we want to open those lines. We want to hear from you guys today. Tell us what is happening. It's very hot out there. Make sure you get yourself a lot of liquid, drink a lot of water, and get yourself hydrated. I was in Georgetown a little short while ago, and the traffic is pretty heavy. People going about their business. Did see some cases, people not wearing their mask and so on. But there's heavy traffic all around the place. There's some business to open. If you want to dine, they're not allowing you to be in the building and dine. You could be outside. They're setting tables outside, and you could be able to have your lunch or coffee or whatever it is that the a couple of the cafeterias are doing that. So you could see things are happening, things are picking up very quickly. However, there's still a lot of worry over the rising number of cases that we see happening here. So let's go quickly. At the front page, the Trinidad Prime Minister, and this is your largest selling newspaper in Guyana, Kaieteur News. It has been bringing you the news over the last 25 years, and like we always said before, this news is not diplomatic in any way. It comes to you as we get it. That's how you're gonna get it, and then so you can make a decision. We're not here to sway your thoughts or what you think. What we're here to do is present the facts as they are, and you, the people of Guyana, make those decisions. That's what a good newspaper does. And I must say good day to Mr. Glenn Lal and his team, and to my colleagues too in the newsroom. You know, I'm a reporter, but I'm here keeping the company here on the Wake Up Guyana show on Kaieteur Radio. And so it's October the 9th, 2020, Friday's edition. This year is flying past. It's already the ninth day of the 3 months, the last remaining 3 months. I'll call it the last quarter of the year. And we are heading down to Christmas. What kind of Christmas is it going to be? Do we feel the season in the air? That's what I want to know. Are you playing Christmas carols? Have you been hearing them? I haven't heard any, but I understand they're being played. People have started very early. Let's see what happens. Is it going to be a Christmas for us to remember? Is it going to be a wet squib? Is it going to be something we expect, and then on Christmas Day and the whole season, because you can't really go about, can't have those parties and so on. So it's going to be kind of damped by the pandemic that is affecting the entire world. Trinidad PM says if conditions continue dramatically, renegotiation of oil deal is a reasonable demand. And so here you have another taking things, and this is Kit Rowley. And he's making a statement with regards to our oil deal that we have here. It is not out of the window that we can't negotiate it here. The door's open, and there could be talks if there is the will from the authorities, the decision makers that is in Guyana. We could do so much more to demand a few dollars here and there. All we were asking is for a fair deal. What is so wrong with the people of Guyana asking for a fair deal? That is, in essence, what the stories that have been coming out. And Kaieteur News has been leading the way when it comes. It does not matter which government is in place, they are going to be asking those questions. What are we getting out of this? Could we get a little more? It is a foregone conclusion that what we have received so far is definitely not enough when you compare it to what the other part of the world is. And this is, just remember, this is one of the biggest oil finds, and you're not talking about jokey oil here. You're talking about oil that is very easy to process. It's not expensive, and it's there in the ground, and they're finding oil like crazy. Exxon has the technology to make the conclusion very quickly. Okay, this is likely an area based on the studies and what they would have. And when they drill, they're going to hit oil more than likely because the technology is there for them to quickly pick it up. Opposition, APNO FC may have obstructed Sarah's probe into Kanji Kaieteur Awards. And this is a Global Witness report. And this is, why would they have done that? SARA was the state agency to recover state assets, and the coalition is being accused here of maybe played a role in halting or causing SARA as a state agency to look into the Kaieteur and Kanji awards and may have stopped them or to, tell them to haul off and then let's go slow on this. That's what the story is saying there. Opposition calls for PPP to regularize success quarters, says that they've done it in the second term. Four more to testify in Gary Best dangerous driving trial. Couple told driver not to return with less than $5,000 busted. There's an interesting story. This cop here was told somebody, let's bring some money, bring some money for what you have done. And the person complained to a Ministry of Home Affairs official. He didn't realize that the official was a big guy within the ministry. And the ministry, they set a trap, and the cop was taken off the traffic department right away. He was put the stand down. They should charge his ass. That's what they say. I shouldn't be using that word, but they should charge him because this is not good enough. If somebody wants to give you some money, maybe to buy a lunch or beer or so, and even that, there's standing orders. There's certain things that you can't accept as a public official in certain positions, and definitely not cops telling you, don't come back for $5,000. Don't come back unless you have $5,000 or more. So whatever you've been getting there, you're shameful of you, officer or rank or whatever you want to call yourself. But you have no place in the police force. You're ashamed to the rest of the good cops that we know, and there's some good, decent cops who have been doing the jobs, and you are the one who are like a pain in the. You have your knees on the neck of the drivers and the people, because when you're on the road, you're just waiting for them to lapse so you can be able to charge them, put them before the court, but do not demand money from them. You have to assume that somebody's gonna boss you. You have to assume that somebody's videoing you, and that should be enough. That is gonna stop you. But no, you want to take the chance and that you're a bad man. Crack gets 10 years for killing of Mahaika rice farmer, and this I think this the guy was going home, I think in the minibus or something, and then they shot the guy there. So if you believe you're a bad man and you want to kill people, you want to rob them, and you want to take away their life, there's going to be jail time for you. You're not such a hero anymore, and I don't care what people say. This is about time for us to put our foot down, especially when you're murdering, you're pillaging, you're taking away the hard-earned money of people. You don't know what they have to do for it, especially rice farmers and farmers. These people go into the back dam, sun, rain, dealing with drainage irrigation, snakes, mosquitoes, mud, everything. They have mortgages to pay. They have so many things that they have to do. And you want to go take it away because you have a need. Go get a job. Go get a job and go work for your money. Do not take the money away from the people. Whatever punishment, today is a kind of day which have very little tolerance for anybody who believe that they could take away the people's money, hard-earned money, and believe that it belongs to you. It is not your money. It belongs to the people. And so if you want a job, go apply. Go get yourself a job. Don't take the people's money. Do not do anything that is going to put you in harm's way. And you put yourself in harm's way. You have a mother probably who is there and hurting because you put yourself in jail. You have family. You may have kids. You may have a girlfriend, a wife. You put yourself in that. You ain't no hero when you're in jail, can't look after them. I know people who've been looking after people from jail because they're doing the little run-ins within the jail thing. So it's big money in certain ways. So let's get it here. Government to moves to finalize electronic transaction bill. I'm going to read a little more of that. Local content policy must be hinged on realistic assessment of companies' needs versus what nation can supply. And so this is a very good thing. We should have an idea what can we do in Guyana, but the stops should all be pulled out. That we should also have an assessment, build those capacity if our people need to bring in steel and things and whatever it is. I saw Kaieteur News would have done they took some pictures here, or the pictures were provided of materials coming into Guyana, and asked why are these materials coming into Guyana, these construction. We have people here, very good welders, we have construction folks here who could be able to produce something and provide it to the people of Guyana. And so when you have people doing that, you're not giving them a fair opportunity. So it is government appoints 8 new permanent secretaries. And we see some young faces here, very young faces here that are replaced. And I understand there's some issues with some appointments here. Though the appointments of PS, I understand that somebody called me this morning, and I'm going to come to you in a very short while. So here it is. The government appoint new and 8 permanent secretaries. We have some young persons. The Ministry of Housing has permanent secretary Andre Ali. I know Andre pretty well. He was the IT official there at Ministry of Housing, I think, prior to 2015, thereabouts, and afterwards he went on to do other stuff. But these are young faces. I could see that you're putting them there and you're working with them, and they brought them back. So Ministry of Home Affairs, May Thomas. I don't know May, but she's gone there to the Ministry of Home Affairs. Ministry of Health has Malcolm Watkins. Of course, he would be replacing Colette Adams. Um, Ministry of Labor, I think Colette is headed, Miss Adams is headed into retirement next year. Not sure. See what happens here. Ministry of Labor PS would be Bishram Kupen. I know that he's been around the block on the campaign trail with the People's Progressive Party Civic, but he seems to be very qualified, and this is an important organization, especially leading out to with oil and gas. That there's been many complaints with regards to how our workers are being treated, what they're getting paid, and of course you're seeing some deaths occurring in the in especially the mining areas there. So the Ministry of Labor is an important area. The PS, in essence, or the permanent secretaries are the ones who runs the ministry on a daily basis. It's not the minister that runs it. What the minister does, he is the or she is the overall he or she is the overall head of the entire ministry who looks after policies, the actual purchasing, the actual ensuring that staffers are paid, the different department making sure that the policies, the decisions taken at the ministerial level are being carried out are the permanent secretaries, and they're in essence like the chief executive officers, and the chairperson there are the ministers. So that in essence is a simple way that you can put it. Ministry of Human Services and Social Security. This is a very important ministry here. You have Shaniel Hussein Autar. Know this young lady here, and she's been around the block with Ministry of Finance and so on. Lots of experience here, and this is a very important ministry because human services is where old age pension and a bunch of other stuff for single moms and so on. So she has a very big role to play in running that ministry. Sharon Hicks, Ministry of Amrina Affairs. I don't know Sharon, but I understand that she's very well known, very well respected. Ministry of Public Works, Vladimir Prasad, former Ministry of Finance official. He would have been let go during the coalition time, and now he's back, and he is at Public Works, a big ministry there. Lots of things to do there because of the construction, the Harbour Bridge, the airport, you name it, transport and harbors, different things that are happening there. And the Ministry of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, the new PS Permanent Secretary is Sharon Rupchan Edwards. Don't know that young lady too much, but well, this is what I was called and told this morning, that there is, in essence, like some of these permanent secretaries, you cannot be a contract worker and be a permanent secretary. You have to be a permanent staffer, and the permanent staffer of the public service is being handled by. And somebody sent me the text here again. Is being handled by the Public Service Commission. But somebody would need to give me some clarity here. So if like persons like Colette or who are the other ones there, Colette Adams here, they're being removed, or so there might be some kind of issue that is coming up there. I'm not sure. Somebody did text that there. So let's see how that happens. So we are coming on in a very short while. We are going to be opening up these lines to tell you, to hear from you people today what is bothering you. We did had a couple of people very happy this morning. Can't tell you a little about that. I can't tell you too much. Somebody did text me and say there's some issue going up on the East Bank there with regards to the developments at the housing scheme. I'm going to try to get some details on that. But let's go straight to the story. Kaieteur Radio is breaking the story here, and it's breaking news on the GECOM CEO would have said that the Deputy Chief Elections Officer, Roxanne Myers, was this morning released on $300,000 bail when she appeared at the Georgetown Magistrate Court on two charges in relation to her actions during the March 2nd, 2020 general and regional elections. Myers appeared before Magistrate Anne McLennan with her attorneys Nigel Lewis and Ronald Daniels. She was slapped with two counts of misconduct in public office charge and was not required to plea to the indictable offences. You have to appear in the High Court eventually after the low court or the magistrate court. This what the indictable means. You appear before a jury because these charges are big. State prosecutor Tariq Mohammed objected to bail being granted to Myers based on the seriousness of the offence and the fact that the police was unable to make contact with the defendant for over a month. However, Magistrate McLennan granted Myers bail in the sum of $100,000, $150,000 on each charge, and the matter was adjourned to October 23rd, 2020. Myers was arrested Tuesday after she turned herself to the CID headquarters, Evelyn Georgetown. This happened less than 24 hours after it was made public that Myers was wanted by the Guyana Police Force for questioning in relation to the investigation of fraud during the 2020 elections period. According to the police, more than a month, several efforts were made to contact Myers at home and even her place of work, which is GECOM, in relation to the post-March 2nd, 2020 election incidents. However, those efforts were futile, police said, as Myers made every effort to elude the police, that is. As a result, a wanted bulletin for Myers was prepared by the GPF, but before it was issued, she turned up at the CID headquarters in the company of our attorneys. This is interesting. So even before it was issued, like somebody probably squealed or somebody smelled the rat, whatever it is, and she was told. But she appeared in court there this morning. Police announced in August that they had been conducted comprehensive investigation into the criminal misconduct of the Chief Elections Officer Keith Lowenfield, returning officer of Region 4, Clement Mingo, and others in relation to the March 2nd, 2020 general and regional elections and the events that followed. Do you recall that this is think it was after March 2nd. We waited 5 months, almost to the date before a new president was sworn in. That is because, on one hand, they said that the elections was not free and fair, and then on the other hand, several dead people voted, and then there was a recount, and it was stretched and everything, and then before the courts now, the opposition has filed elections petition, and so I think two of them were filed. So that is where it's at. But there are a lot of calls for the government to get to the bottom of what happened, who played what role, and so therein is where you're seeing those charges that are coming out. So the CARICOM General Insurance Time, a better value for better protection. Get your ship and cargo covered with us today. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. at 121 Regent and Arnock Streets to better serve you. You can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. Telephone 225-1787 or 269-0020. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. I want to say good day to the folks down in Region 3, in Region 4, all the regions, in fact. Region 2, the police, I saw somewhere that they would have released a list of the transportation cost for the Region 2 area. I'm going to find that, put my hands on it in a very short while, and read it to you, because you should know that you can't have yourself be charging the people when you're being accused of charging them over too much. Now, I did talk to you before we go to the lines, which is 226-7453, 226-7453. You should be calling us on that number. 5 minutes, we're going to open the line. And then you also have you could send your messages to 6222222. That is where you send your text messages to. We've been trying to read them. Yesterday went very well. Today we're going to continue the talks as we head into the weekend. But right now, let me read to you what the Guyana Elections Commission chairperson, this is Justice Retired Claudette Singh, would have issued a statement, and this is what she had to say to Desmond Trotman, and he's a commissioner of GECOM. It has been brought to my attention that Desmond Trotman, commissioner of GECOM, in an interview early today with the press, has alleged that the chairperson of GECOM, that as the chairperson of GECOM, I have been facilitating the handing over of information and the persecution of members of staff without showing any willingness to take some line of action. and for the party to what is happening is the chair of the commission, because she's facilitating every line of action that the police is taking and claiming that she cannot interfere. She has instructed that documents be handed over without ascertaining that the documents are going to be used for, ascertaining what the documents are going to be used for. And this is what she had to say. I wish to state that the Criminal Investigation Department of the Guyana Police Force had requested the contracts of some members of staff, which are reported at a statutory meeting of the Commission. After some discussion, I undertook to seek clarity from the CID as to the purpose of the request, as these documents are private to GECOM and those members of staff. A response from the CID advised that what was in fact was required were their respective job descriptions. Considering that this information is public, I had instructed the Human Resources Manager to provide job descriptions only. As chairpersons of GECOM and a former police legal advisor, I do not have the authority to interfere in the work of the Guyana Police Force nor any other statutory body, and will always ensure that the best interests of the members of staff of GECOM are protected. It is regrettable that the Commissioner Trotman would publicly admonish the Commission, especially in the light of the fact that he was present and a party to these discussions. So the Iron Lady has spoken here. She's made it very clear. But you sitting there, Raj is sitting there as a commissioner in that meeting there, and we discussed it. We took a decision what happened, what is going to happen. We are going to not give the contracts. We're going to give them the job description, which says that Raj is in charge of the studio here. Gildarie is in charge of holding the door open. And we took a decision that Raj is going to switch places. Gildarie is going to be at the controls, and Raj is going to be opening the door. Not serious. Raj, we're not going to demote you. We're keeping you with your job. And guess what? Afterwards, Raj go tell, I think Tishana or Glenlal, that he wasn't part of it. He was not even in the room when the decision was taken. So the Iron Lady is saying, no, you're part and parcel of this discussion here. That's what she's saying. And she's very quick in issuing the statement. You know, you don't play with the GECOM chairperson there. She's always been one who's gone according to the line. We could accuse her of not taking decisions in time, but when it was time for her to make those decisions, she did move. She said that she wants to go according to the law and ensure that if there's a court case, that she respects the court case. And so she did go right along that way with regards to that. So it is 62222. Do not call us on that number there. We are only taking messages to that number there. The number that you need to call us is 2267453, and we are going to go down to the line at the moment. Do we have a call in line there, Raj? We don't have a caller right now, but in the meantime, we are going to wait. When Raj sees the callers with the call there, he is going to connect us. And so it is a beautiful day. Let me see, there's a call in line. Go right ahead, caller, you're here.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
This is Kaieteur.
Yes, you're on the Kaieteur radio and you are on air at the moment.
Okay. I want to make some... I want to make some things.
Sure.
Listen to me carefully. The talk about social distance. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And we are getting paid as pensioner IFLOT center every fortnight. The next fortnight will be the 23rd. I want a media to come along there. The woman, when I paid 3 different windows where the people them can't think. He put the window them so one window next to 3 feet from one another. And if you see the bunch of the people them.
Which area is this?
Yes, IFLOT Estate.
IFLOT Estate?
Yes.
Okay, and this is at the community ground there?
Yes.
At the community, no, hold on, sir, hold on. We talk about the community center that is happening?
Yes. The thing was very far. The girl is a black girl. We talked to she. She put one in the next street, one other in the end.
Well, hold on, sir. Why, I mean, we got to careful with the black thing. Let's careful with that, right? I don't want to get myself in trouble. So.
I don't know her name, but
right, okay.
Speak to her concerning this thing. She's a welfare officer, and he said she can't do nothing. That you got to work like that.
Right.
Now, you don't know who from me get COVID and one other COVID, and the grandfather, parents come and think. And if you see the bond up, you got to get money. I mean, there's 6.
And these monies that they're paying, is it Gaisuka money? Is it NIS? What is it exactly?
Gaisuka, man.
Gaisuka money. This is salaries, wages, what is it?
And We asked you for put it when back them how it used to be.
Right, right.
So the people never go mix up because let me say 3 feet from where you there, one window there, the other window there 3 feet, the other window there 3 feet. Now when the people go for the money, everybody there in a bundle of things. When you got the line, she tell you, I make line on, make line on. Mr. Madam, you got to move this thing. And one next thing again. Yesterday, we get play water and after it cut out this morning, up to no water again.
And this is in the I-flood area?
Yes.
CI again, CI
Yes.
again. I sent this thing several times to the ministry.
I want the minister come himself in here, man, or I get fed up. What's up to now the place, Nagi? What about people who have a black tank? What about people who have other thing? What about people who are close to wash for 6 morning? What's the waste thing? Get water to cook.
Mm.
This thing really disgusting, man. It's out of hand, like, you know.
All right, I'm going to send it back to the ministry again. I do send it, and I think CI was one of them. Parfait Harmony, another one. Haslington on the East Coast is another one. As I get these things here, I would send it to them. I did send it out to them.
Was Monday at between Hague and say just come over Hague. You got two revolve there on there. But I can't quick and I put things up on. And people go over 10 feet high. I see man weed them out and I clean them. And you see the two thing there to open water. I don't know what really happened, brother. But
Yes, I myself don't know, but I'm going to raise it with the CI thing again and let them think. I think the minister is in Parfait Harmony at the moment, so they come in as we send it to them. Good thing about it is that they're listening. Let's see what happens.
And here it is. One thing me want to think. Me want on camera man come and I get paid for 8 o'clock. When Abi then say, young, when Abi got a RP master there and till something 8:30 and 8 o'clock and all kind of thing. People not drink tea, them people are 84 years, 85 years, 79 years, me only just sit, brother. And me can see other people that go to the car and not drink tea, them also come for their money and go home. And this are the hot sober you get. And the gym there, he a waste of time. The Japanese man, he a waste of time. And I don't know what really going on, man. This thing gone right out of hand with this COVID.
No, let me tell you this. I think we're going to touch 100 cases this weekend. And this has been one of my saddest times.
Every day I listen to all the news. Every day I listen to the program. And many times me calling. And, you know, I don't know what to say, man. Our next thing again. You announce something, the government announced. I mean, that's so fussy. But the government announced something for $25,000. Why take so long to give people whatever they have to give? You announce it. Now you will announce it. And you say you do region one and there. You got other people can do the region them. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
When you go bring the money for Christmas time, we'll show people you give Christmas thing. Ma, look, I'm there, so they better take the money and take their pocket. And I like a track man and Myers and all them, they must get 20 years jail and so on. Let people do a lot of shit, make all this thing happen. And the ideal, let me get a better ideal body. Because let me tell you something. What's so much on I'm getting already? And we only get about 14 or how much? That's out of the question, buddy. You understand me?
Yes.
And me must get a better deal. And me know Jack, they will fight till to the last. He's a very bright man. And he been in the ministry and then a make of finance. And so, you know.
I hear you. All right, so I'm going to send this over to the ministry, the ministers. I'm going to send them every day where we have that.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, man. Thank you very
right.
much. I'm going to send it to Gaisuko as well. Thank you very much.
If me don't know who can address this thing, I protest it. It's every part that you got everybody. The tree will never close.
I'm going to send it. I'm going to send it to the Gaisuko folks. There is a new CEO acting, says Singh. And I'm going to send it to him right away.
Yes, the guy who take over from Gaisuko now.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant rest of the day.
God bless you, man.
God bless you too. And it is Friday. Thank you very much. The caller across the river there. You know, we have so many persons. I want to say good day to Nanda Prasad, Tivari Ramesh. How you doing, Terry Ramsaran? Masay Donna, Rita Jagmohan, Bibi Shabir Hussein. Every day these people are in and out with us here. Abdul Rashid Ali. Hakila Hussein, Rashmi Cornelius, R.M. Singh, Pam Singh, Savinat, Asma Bacchus, how you guys doing? Shanta Hari Kishun, a good day to you from Kaieteur Radio, from Raj and the rest of the team. Thank you for joining us. And very quickly, before we go back to the calls, let's read some of those messages that our people have been sending. Somebody asking here how the vacation has been. I'm not sure of vacation. I've been working every single day, trying to do things, you know. Good day, Gildarie. I just wanted to bring to your attention a small matter. A senior citizen mother went to pick up her old age pension from the post office in Lamahan, Carmichael Street, Lama. Yes, I know that post office there, and was told that they don't have any money for 2 days. She waited on my sister to pick up her about 30 minutes. Then they told her that somebody came in, so she was about to get it. The situation of not having money is sad, not for my mother, but for the other older folks who may go there and will not have to get anything, and they have to go and come back again. Just to want you to highlight this. I don't know if any other person are experiencing the same situation. Yes, the issue of money and keeping too much of money is something that the post offices have been grappling with. You could recall in the past that there were issues of people breaking in, people even robbing the post offices, and they were able to break up some of those gangs that would have been doing some of those things, put them before the courts and so on. But it is always an issue, the logistics of moving. Let's say you're in the hinterlands, and so logistics of moving money from one area to the next area, it is a big, big issue. So it is very sad, but there seems to there have to be something that the post offices have to do to be able to plan better and make sure that when the pensioners go there, you don't treat them bad, that you don't get them back and forth, back and forth. These are people who barely got money to travel. They barely have passage, and we know it in Guyana's passage, to take a public transportation or even probably ride a bike. And when they go there, you have them waiting there for hours. Maybe some of them just waiting on that money there, and they don't have even money to buy lunch. You know, we have to be very, very careful that we take all these things into consideration. If we want to uplift the lives of the people in this country, we have to raise the level of services to our people. And so it isn't, you know, it isn't that we just brush it off and say, well, it has been going on like this for a very, very long time. No, get your acts together. You are the ones that are in charge of the offices there. You are the policymakers. Fix it. Do not allow it to continue day in, day out. Why is it that people got to come to the office, or you see that happening day in, day out? As people there in the various offices, if you are managers, if you are the ones making decisions, and when you see things happening, do not wait on somebody to tell you, you know, that could be a grandmother, that could be a grandfather. Let us don't treat them that way. Let us have respect for these people. They may have had a hard life. They may not have been educated the way that we were, that we have been gone to school and so on. They were in the fields. They've had to work very hard, sending the children to school. We have to respect them. We have to show them those respect. And while we don't expect the government to perform miracles, we don't expect, on the other hand, that we should be remaining in the same place. 20 years back, we were at this position. You cannot expect that 20 years later that you're in the same position. Something got to be wrong with the managers who are in charge of these various areas. Something got to be wrong with the ministers to allow that. Because you have ministers in charge of the various service entities. You have a minister who would probably be in charge of the post offices and so. So when you see that happening and day in, day out, in this day and age where technology is at, we should be having all these places connected, interconnected, and so on, and move it. We've been talking about, moving the post offices to a different level of services instead of just, looking at them to doing the traditional thing of dropping a happy birthday card and so on. A lot of people are not sending birthday cards anymore. A lot of people are not writing letters anymore, love letters and things like that. A lot of folks are sending emails and texts and so on. So what you have happening is a different way of thinking. How do we have these organizations like the post offices and so remain viable, remain relevant at the same time that they don't have to depend on the government to subsidize them and so on. So very important point raised by that person. Good afternoon, Leonard. I was at the Soulsdyke Post Office a few days ago. I was very disappointed by what I saw. Besides wearing a mask, there's no other COVID-19 measures taken. It was raining heavily and the people there clustered approximately 2 cm apart just to shelter the rain. Is this how we're taking care of the pensioners? Yes, bring these stories out. I want to hear it. So that is at the Soesdijk post offices there. Post office. If you're listening to us, the people have been complaining. Good afternoon. That the Kaieteur. Good afternoon, Leonard. Greetings to you. And the person is saying thank you for the update, everybody. Good afternoon, sir. How are you? I'm Radish Rajmangal, a 24-year-old man from Clifton Settlement, currently in Berbice. I was employed by Guy Suko, Albion, Port Morant Estate. I was absent due to unforeseen circumstances, tried many times to get back my job. But every time I go, Human Resources Department has an excuse. I was told by someone that Guy Suko don't need me. Please, I need someone to look into this and help in whatever way possible. Thank you in advance. Well, I'm not sure you didn't indicate to me, sir, whether you would have engaged the union. There is a union, two unions in fact. One is the Guyana Agriculture and General Workers Union, GAU, and I think I forget the other one is NASI. You need to make contact with these unions because these unions represent workers there and let them take your case. If you have already, or if they've already done so and you're not happy, there is the Ministry of Labor and they're very vibrant there. You should think about taking those two issues, that issue up with them. Which brings us to the other issue. We just raise a point. If you're living up in Berbice and the Ministry of Labour down in Georgetown, could somebody tell me if they know if there's a Ministry of Labour office in Berbice, if there's a branch or something? Could somebody tell us? I'm not sure. And somebody saying, hi, good afternoon, Leonard, to you and all the hardworking staff. I'd like Guy Suko to send the security at the Luziknan East Side Line Dam, south of the railway embankment line. Um, some Kishan move a house on the road going to the other line. I'm not sure what this really means. What do you mean? They illegally moved the house and they damaged the road? What happened here? I'm not sure what this person is saying. Um, uh, Okay, let me see before we go to the lines again. Could you go back to the lines here, Raj? Good afternoon, caller. You on the air. Go right ahead. Yes, good afternoon, caller. You on the air.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir.
I think this water problem is it's a real problem. You know. I think Mr. Sheikh Bashir should face the nation
You should save the nation. What do you mean?
because the water problem is really get out of hand right now.
Uh-huh. This is in which area you calling from?
I'm calling from Fowles.
Falls on the east coast of Demerara?
Yes, thanks.
You have an issue there? What is happening there? I think Haslington complained to me
The
recently.
water pressure is low. Sometimes you don't get water.
And this is happening since when?
But especially Black Hand, no water, totally for nothing.
Well, obviously, if you got blackout, you can't do nothing. But has this been happening before elections, or you saw something happen after the
After election thing happened.
And so this happened after President Ali would have been sworn in. Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So there's a new government, and I'm not sure. I'm going to have to bring this GWI people them and let them tell us what's happening because
People should come out. I'm again the rich people. Yes, I agree. But be more proactive. You understand?
right. So you want them to come to the area, but how do you choose? You see, one of the
I
problems that they
come
get.
to the area.
Uh-huh.
Either you get the people call you for the weekend or something,
Uh-huh.
or you got a call and program for the people to call and you can answer them.
And I agree with you on that. I think NIS used to got a program. I think they still do.
Yes.
GRA would have a
You
program.
get a day of a month or 2 days of a month. So you get to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you got a program there.
Yes, sir.
The government know what's going on. So they know they're making their nest egg their blunts.
Right. I agree with you.
Working, you understand?
I'm going to have, look, these guys, I think they're learning as they go along, which is not such a bad thing. And they're listening to. I'm going to be suggesting to them.
Right? But I'm saying you need to be more proactive.
Right.
Because I heard something, I don't want to mention it now, but I may mention some other day time to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, dear sir. All the way from Fowles on the east coast of Demerara. I want to say good day to the people of Enmore, Haslington, Coverdron, coming down Strathspey, Paradise, Luziknan. How you guys doing there? We go across to the Atlantic Garden folks. I want to say good day to the Better Hope, Fries, Luss area there. Good for Wacton. want to say good day to President Finale, his team of cabinet members, leader of the opposition, Joseph Harmon, and the members of the National Assembly. A good day to you. You have a lot of work, gentlemen and ladies, to do for the people of this country. But what we see in here, there seems to be a growing number of complaints also about the situation with GWI and water. Like somebody said, one of our listeners here, one of the viewers, and they on Facebook, and they're saying that water is like life. You could do probably without electricity, but the water is very, very important. That you need it to do so many things, not only to cook, to drink, but in addition to that, to clean and so on. It's very, very necessary. And if you're not having it or having it in sufficient quantity, and especially if you don't have power and it's not coming there, it does all kind of, it's a lot of inconvenience here. So we got to get this thing right and get it fixed. I'm not sure if it is that they're doing some maintenance at these wells, but I think GWI need to come out and say something. I'm going to have to reach out to the ministers them again, and maybe they need to come on board here with Mr. Sheikh Bash, and maybe he could tell us a little about what's happening. I'm going to have to reach out to him. Very important. People are getting very upset here. So it is the Wake Up Guyana show. We coming to you live from the Saffron Street studio of Kaieteur Radio. 99.1, we coming to you here in Georgetown, Demerara, and on the Essequibo coast. And of course, if you're in Berbice, it's 99.5 FM. Yesterday we were off a little. Rat says he sent a taxi down to Berbice to fix it. Did you do that, Raj? You send those people to fix the antenna up in Berbice? Yes, he did that. Rat is very proactive. He's a very nice gentleman, and he doesn't like to see things not happen, and he makes it happen. You have any intentions of taking over where Glenn Ladders has been doing? You want to run the organization too? He says yes. He's smiling, but I think he's aggressive and ambitious at the moment. Not wrong with that. Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie. I have an issue now. 3 years now I live in a small scheme in Kaieteur and Berbice. There's only 13 homes, but none have access to landline phone. I've called GT&T in New Amsterdam, but it's always an excuse. What should I do? I think what I could do is tell you to wait a little. I think there's a couple of companies here, GT&T, in addition to GT&T, there's e-networks on board right now, and I think Digicel is also wanting to take charge or to take part in the areas of bringing internet, cheaper internet, fast internet. E-networks has already rolled out its what it calls a 5G network, which is fast internet for less than the price of what GT&T is doing at the moment. So it is going to be good. It's going to be heated up as GT&T, e-networks, and any other persons, any other companies that want to come to Guyana. I am excited because when you have fast internet, you can be able to sit at home, put on the television, and you could have movies galore. You don't have to have cable or whatever it is. You could do so many things. The kids could be talking to the grandmother in New York, in Austria, wherever it is that you have your relatives. You could be doing business with here and China. You could have video calls. You could have so many things. You could stay at home, and you could be able to go to school. Well, at least participate in the school activities from home. You could be in the hinterlands, and you could be able to have medical help, medical assistance, because doctors can't make it to you, and he could be able to tell you what to do, what not to do, and diagnose you right there and then, and very fair in a very quick manner. That things could happen with fast internet, cheaper internet. It has a lot of applications, a lot of possibilities here. I want to see within a year when you and I have a conversation back, if God allows me to remain on radio. That's if I don't go anywhere and Raj doesn't send me home. That I could be able to come back and tell you I'm happy 1 year later the position that we are in. Very quickly, somebody said, I am not sure what that means. Great. So before we go back, 131. Who was the 4.3 billionaire who touched on in Guyana a few days ago? I think he is somebody from Shark Tank. There's a big U.S. show that talks about different things, and so he has been here. I'm not sure. Very quiet. Nobody said anything why he's here, but I presume they may be looking at Guyana to do some things. Let us see. A man doesn't take a jet and fly to Guyana just like that, especially if you're billionaires. So it has to be something pretty big. The price was caught in a sting operation listing $5,000. He was transferred. You transfer the man, or there's, I'm not sure, or the sinister act. I'm not sure what that means. What that means, sir. Um, well, very quickly, let me tell you how this cop was busted as if for $5,000. It's a nice, feel-good kind of story for a day like this. I'm sorry for the cop. You should use this as a learning lesson. If you're not out of the force, you're a very lucky man. But you have been transferred to another area. Don't get caught. Don't be stupid. Don't be like this cop. And so, traffic cop busted. Quick action by top officials of the Ministry of Home Affairs led to the transfer of police rank out of the department. A minibus driver was pulled over last Wednesday by a motorcycle traffic rank attached to the Brickdam police station in the vicinity of Stabrook Market. Upon inspection of the vehicle documents, the rank discovered that the vehicle fitness was missing, and after the bus driver explained that the missing document was at his home, the traffic rank held onto the insurance and the driver's license of the bus driver and sent him home to retrieve the fitness. He also instructed to return with nothing less than $5,000. He's a bad man there, Raj. Come back with a little bribe. All right, this extortion was reported to the Home Affairs Minister, Robertson Ben, and a sting operation was quickly executed by a senior ministry official who photographed the serial number of the money and recorded the transaction on video. The traffic rank was then escorted back to the Brickdam police station where he was interrogated by senior police officers, followed by an investigation. As a result, he was removed from traffic. You're lucky you didn't get fired, boy. This inappropriate incident signals a warning that the Ministry of Home Affairs has zero tolerance for corruption and is determined to weed out those who continue to give the Guyana police force a bad name. Here the issue that I have with this here. The man was questioned by senior officials. If you know the story, what happens with traffic cops when you're out on the road? The traffic cops, any cop that goes on, the story that is coming, that has been told over the years, is that every cop that goes in, or sorry, that would be bad of Gildarie to say that. Most of the cops that goes into the force want to go work in the traffic department. It is not because they like the sun. It's not because they like to use sunscreen. It's not because it's good that vitamin C is good for your health and the sun gives you that. It is because there's other things that happen. There's fringe benefits, and those fringe benefits, you know what it is. So they're there. And so what this cop got was a transfer from that traffic department to another. I'm not sure where he's going to go. But at the end of the day, you're very lucky that you didn't get fired. Thank God that you didn't lose your job. But at the same time, you're also very lucky they didn't charge you and put you elsewhere. So you got to be very careful. So I did say to you that it is interesting that you have senior officials that are questioning these people, some of them even being accused of running rackets. I have some very bad news for you here today. This is something that I really did not want to bring to you, and this is a breaking news now. The Ministry of Health has just announced 2 more COVID-19 deaths. Our numbers since we recorded the first one back in March has touched 100. This is very hard news. It was totally, we were expecting it. It's Friday. I was expecting these figures to touch 100 over the weekend, but we've touched a little earlier. Let me see what this says here with regards to who the persons may be. We would have some clues as to where they're from. And so this happened today. 2 more persons, they have died. The number have gone to 100. The latest fatalities are a 57-year-old man from Region 7. This is the Kaieteur Mazaruni area, mining area, and a 43-year-old male from Region 3. This is a West Demerara now. So we don't often have people from the West Demerara area. Both persons died while receiving medical care at our medical facility. If this is not a wake-up call for people in Guyana, I'm not sure what is. It's 100 persons has died so far in our country. 2 more today, and one of them is younger than myself. Yes, that's how old I am. He's 43-year-old, and he's died. And so the Ministry of Health expresses sincerest condolences to the families of the 2 deceased and will make every effort to provide all the necessary support during this difficult time. The ministry is appealing to the general public to respect the confidentiality of the 2 deceased and their families to allow them to mourn the tragic loss in peace. And they are asking that, take the necessary precautions. So I want to take just a few seconds here and tell you that if this is not a very serious message that is being sent, those two deaths are something. I'm not saying that it could have been avoided, but it should be a very big message because when you go and you have older folks that could have, as you get older, you have all kind of things happening to you. You might have a little pressure issue. When this virus the coronavirus is something that is a very strange thing. When it comes, it's like the HIV, AIDS. It strips away you and it finds out one thing in which it makes you weak and then it attacks that. And in so doing, you would have difficulties breathing, respiratory problems. And when that starts happening, it puts pressure on your heart and eventually you have a heart failure. It causes systems. You have failure to your organs and things like that. Kidneys and everything could be attacked. If you're diabetic and so on, all these things could happen. If you're a hypertensive case, they could send the pressure up. So when you're out on the road and you're not doing what it is, remember you have kids at home. You have a family at home. I tested positive. I could be one that tell you that I wish I could have done a little more. Sometimes I lapsed. Sometimes you think, it's going to happen very quickly. I remember to put on my mask. It is just in here, before I come in here, we spray down everything and we try to do it. Nobody comes in here while the show is ongoing. Rat sits there and Rat does his stuff. So we are protecting ourselves. I want to appeal this Kaieteur Radio here and the family of Kaieteur Radio and Kaieteur News, together with Mr. Glenn Lal and this team of editors and reporters and the rest of the staffers, would join the rest of the Guyanese people who are also want to appeal. Let us take those extra care. We cannot afford. We want this country to open back. But if you're stupid, if you're doing things that is going to put your family, and I got to use these words here, there's no other words to describe it. We got to put our foot down and start getting serious. You are the ones when you don't, as a minibus driver, as a taxi driver, as a businessman, if you're in the stores, whatever it is that you're doing. I go into every store now whenever I get a chance, and they're very strict. And but you can't go into a place before you go in. To send you out back. Please go sanitize your hands before you enter it. Did you sanitize your hands? These are the kind of questions and these are the kind of things that are happening. And I am very happy. You see almost every place they're doing it, but it would defy the purpose of you actually taking these precautions when you go out and you sit down at a rum shop table. Today's Friday. What are you doing? What do you have planned for the rest of the day? Let's meet up at the strip. Let us meet up somewhere along the line and let's not do that. Let's not adhere to the social distancing rule. Let us don't stay 6 feet apart. Let us be close up together. Take off your mask. Let us drink. Let us smoke. Let us do what is necessary. Somebody else is going to get it. It's not, Gildarie is going to get it. Nobody else is going to get it. Get a rude awakening coming. It is going to be somebody who's going to be close to you, who's going to feel the squeeze, especially if they have an underlying condition. So I want to say good day. This is the Wake Up Guyana show. It's just after 2 o'clock, and it is the CARICOM General Insurance time. A better value for better protection. Get your ship and cargo covered with us today. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. at 121 Regent and Arnock Streets to better serve you. You can now purchase your insurance online for the comfort of your home. 6222222, send us those messages to that number there. You could get us right now. Call us in the studio here. We want to hear from you. 2267453. Do we have that there, Raj? Do we have another caller online? Yes, good afternoon, caller, you on the air. Yes, good afternoon, caller, you on the air. Go right ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. How you do, my brother?
Thank you very much, ma'am. How you doing? Tell me.
I'm not too well, and I got a little problem, and I know you can help me out.
Sure.
Um, on the 3rd and 4th of September, I was not having electricity, right? And I called GPL, and they came on the 5th.
What happened to electricity?
And they came, right? And what they did, they go in the meter.
No, but what happened to electricity?
I was not getting electricity in the house,
so you have a prepaid or a postpaid?
No, a postpaid meter, right? And they came and they break the seal, they went in the meter, and it had electricity. They went in the house and checked the main switch. They were current, and they went back downstairs. And I told them, aren't you going to seal back the meter? He said, no, he don't do that. And I must see when GPL man them gonna come wrong. But nobody came wrong, right?
Hmm.
I called GPL and a lady tell me that don't worry, that they have the number, the reference number. Said don't worry, but I said no, I got to worry because somebody else might come and go and say that the meter is stamped or something. That I
Well, you
want
did
my
call Kaieteur Radio here. That's one. Two, write down the reference number, stick it in your fridge or put it somewhere there, and write down the number that you have, that you call them, that you speak, that you spoke with the representative there. If you see 1 month they ain't come back, remember you have it recorded here that it's happened. But I think somebody did complain about a similar incident about more than a week or so back, about the same thing that happened to them there. Maybe when I bring on Chevion Sears onto the program, who is a GPL.
no I call the see something what do you complain like when
You were the same person that called me, right?
yeah, I called them,
Uh huh.
right? And they give me another number. When I called, they said that I have to go to some office and lay a complaint. But I did not get in the office where my phone was making a problem. But the other point, I am an elder person. I live alone. I have heart problem, high pressure, tension,
All right, you did call
and
me,
I
and
don't want to go places.
but let me ask you a question, and I don't think you should be going places either. That's not your problem. If they do it, why you gotta go complain about it? So the number that I give you, the 225-1471, did you call
No,
them?
no, I got to get a pen and write. You give me 1 second.
Yes. You don't have to pick yourself up. It's not your problem. I don't understand this. This is madness. Hello? Huh? So if it is that you're listening, that lady there that just called there, let me give you the number there. 225. I think was it? It's 1471. I think it is 225-1471. This is the public relations department at the GPL. You could have asked for Chevion Sears. Chevion Sears. So it's 225-1471. You call them, that's the public relations department. Say that it's not your fault and you want to know how they're gonna fix it. Let them come and fix it. You're not gonna come anywhere. If you're old and they come and do that, you don't have to go anywhere to make a complaint. GPL take the eyes and pass you. You take the eyes and pass the people of Guyana if they did that. So they need to fix that. And Chevion, you guys need to do a little more better than that at GPL. We can't have our senior citizens when we have staffers coming out. We know there's contract workers that are coming out and they're doing the stuff, but they can if they come and they open in the seal on the meter, you got to put it back. You can put people in trouble like that. So it's 225-1471. I think it is. It's a public relations department of the Guyana Power and Light Inc. So in the meantime, let us read a couple of messages. We're gonna come back in onto the line and listen to what our folks are saying there. I've been on this program so much that I know these callers just by their voice. I can tell where they're from and what the issues are. So somebody's saying that. Interesting. Good afternoon, Gildarie. When we went to pay rates and tax, they were closed for the first quarter of the year. When we went to pay, which was the last quarter of the year, they took arrears from us. We're from Bagatsong, East Bank, Demerara. Let me see. We went to pay rates and they were closed. And when we went to pay, what was the last quarter of the year, they took arrears from us. We're from Bagatsong, East Bank, Demerara. You need to write the chairperson. If it is the Bagatsong area there, rates and taxes, does that fall under the Petersall NDC? I think it's the Petersall NDC. There's supposed to be a chairperson there. You need to write them. You guys need to write them there and make a complaint and appeal this case. Tell them that if you close, it's no fault of mine. If you close because of the pandemic, why you charging us arrears? They can't take arrears from you because if you're closed. But if they weren't closed and you have to pay your arrears, it's your fault. Well, then something else because they didn't waive your arrears. You need to find out. But if it is that they remain closed right through, you happen to know that for a fact, you need to get on back to these people and write the chairperson. We got to do that. You don't have to be perfect in English. All you got to say, dear Mr. Chair, I live at lot so, and on such and such a date, attach our copies. You can make photocopy of it and put it in the letter there. And they asked me to pay the arrear. I'm not supposed to pay the arrear because it's your fault that you're closed. You say it directly to them. And I'm asking you to have this transaction reversed or something. You have a right to say that. Do not remove the mask. There are two people more than within 2 meters. Do not share your mask with anyone. A Ministry of Health messages is coming there. Hi, Mr. Leonard. Please read this. I'm from the Luluni. When the PPP were in power, we given a boss. I think somebody would have said that already. Did you send the message to the minister about giving each household a solar? We need it because we don't get current in our home, and we have to walk anytime there's lot. Oh, the person say when you're in the Luluni area to go visit them. I say thank you very much for that. When I'm in the Luluni area, I like that area there, the light, nice sandy area. So whenever it is that I'm in that area, I'm gonna come. Okay, I'm gonna send this message about giving each household a solar. The ministry did indicate that hinterland areas, and I think we could say it's kind of hinterland. Laluni, we're gonna ask them to bring some either electricity or solar to that area there. So I'm making a note of it and maybe send it to the Prime Minister who has charge or who has responsibility for the energy sector. So I'm going to get on to and send that. You guys give me a lot of work at the end of the day here, but let's go. It's all for the good of the people, for the better of the people of Guyana. Right, so we have another caller in the air there. Yes, good afternoon, caller, you're in the air. Yes, good afternoon, caller, you're in the air. Go right ahead.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. How you doing?
I have a problem.
Sure.
I went to the NDC, right? And
Yes.
they had a complaint about is one house after me, right? A vacant lot, and then is this lady. Every time the NDC go and then clean the drain, this lady blocking up back the drain. She saying the water going in she yard. I get sick and fed up going at the NDC. I live in a Montrose.
Montrose, I don't know what to say because if the NDC is not coming, when you tell her, why is she blocking up the water?
Then the NDC is the main drain. That's what everybody water. That's the road.
Yeah, but why is she blocking up the place?
She blocking the drain and saying the water from there going in and in the vacant lot when nobody is living. She's saying the water from me yard and that man yard are going in she place.
Well, there's a big bad woman. The woman bad for this.
The NDC already tell she that they're going to send a letter. They saw she a letter and they come and they open it back and the lady block it up back within 3-4 days.
She's a bad woman.
You know what to say.
I don't know what to say there because if the NDC...
I don't even know she got gutter there in me yard and I tell she fix the gutter good because it don't fall from the grandchildren and the car is placed in the passageway there. She just tell me how I have to fix it. She can't fix it. I got two strong man living by me. So I tell she there is not me problem for fix it. So I want the NDC. Where are we going at the NDC? I better open hearing letter there. And the woman telling me go home, she gonna come. And she never to come. The same people them had a septic tank problem. The filth used to come over in my yard, right? And the boy used to pump out the filth in the drain. But now we stopped doing that since they go into the NDC and they go and report it. But the people them never come. The girl said go home and she don't come. She never come.
You need to engage the NDC and continue to engage them. That's an NDC problem. I'm not sure why they're not acting. But I wish I had neighbors like that around me. I wish I had neighbors like that around me. I got a neighbor, got a tree that growing onto my shed.
Me dog dead with the same water. Me dog dead with the same filth water.
No.
Because the dog just drink the water and they're dead with leftover.
Oh my goodness, I'm really sorry about that. I have the 3 dogs too, and I would like that to happen. All right, but what you need to do, if you were to ask me my advice, you need to go and behave bad. You hear me? Behave bad in the NDC.
Okay, because I call in George and they say they can't deal with it.
No, it's the NDC issue. You got to think that. I'm really sorry with that. But the lady bad for this, though. Let me tell you that. But I like neighbors like that. I have a neighbor right now who cherry tree growing on top of my zinc, and so the animals are using my shed to get over to her yard. And when I tell them, the lady vex. You imagine that? She vexed because her tree is growing on my shed.
Yes. This
All right,
people
in any
don't
case.
know what wrong with she brain. She blocking the drain.
Right.
And me water can't run.
All right, so she's a bully. Somebody says she's a village bully. All right, you need to go and you need to behave. You need to behave bad in front of them and ask them. You should tell them I'm going to stop paying my. You know what? We need to start doing that. When the NDC don't do the work, you start going into them and start telling them I'm not paying. I'm not paying my rates and taxes if you don't do your work. You need to start doing that. Maybe it's something I don't like telling people to break the law, but guess what? If I'm paying you to represent me and you're not representing me, why am I paying you? Maybe somebody is going to disagree. I don't know. But in the meantime, it is the Wake Up Guyana show, and Gildarie is on a roll today because Raj says he could cook. What's the thing that you said you know to cook? Yes, he's talking about chicken biryani and what else? Mutton biryani, and I think it's spicy. I gotta careful that spicy stuff is as you get older, spicy things do all kind of stuff to your stomach. I gotta talk about that. Hi, Leonard. Cattle rustling in the East County Berbice areas on the go under the coalition. It was stamped out as soon as the PPP took over. It started again. Berbice commander, you guys need to get onto the Berbice commander right now. Tell them that you have gotten hold of Kaieteur Radio, and we tell you to get hold of him. He's a good commander there, and tell him that you want him to look at the situation. Because somebody, if you're rustling, it's like you're stealing stuff. If people are stealing motorbikes and cars or whatever, somebody got to be buying it, right? And the police has been knowing who are the culprits. If you're buying cows, somebody got to be selling it. Somebody got to be selling it. So there's a linkages there. Somebody got to be butchering it, and so the butchers are ultimately the ones who are where it ends up. So I think the police have a very good idea who are the rustlers, who are the bad eggs, and when you find them, and when you see things happen, when you see farmers take things into their own hands, when you go after them, like there was a story with the West Berbice, there was the initial story, and there was a talk about if you planting every day, day in and day out, and you tending to that little plant or the plants, and you come in a day, and when you're about to go harvest your pepper or whatever it is, you go there and somebody cut out all your cabbage, all your pepper, and they're gone with it. And how do you feel as a person? What would you want to do to those persons who have done that to you? So it is something, there's a lot of anger. People want to protect themselves. They have family to feed and they're dependent. And when somebody can do that, go straight to the commander in Region 6 there and have a chat with him. Say that you've talked about it, talked to Kaieteur Radio about it, and that I advise him to look into it. He's a very good commander. Hi, I live in Bell West, the street after the Mandea Street. And the street is so bad, it has many potholes. Also, the water pressure is very low. We're not getting water daytime. You need to raise this matter with the NDC, start talking to them. You need to start getting them. You need to go into them and make your applications for the street to be looked after. Tell them, please, I'm begging you to please put it in your work plan. Even if you send a grader or something right now to just grade it down, I'd appreciate it very much. You don't have to do anything, just grade it down right now. I think they could do something like that. My NDC does be very, you call them, you could talk to them. You guys need to start talking to your NDC people. You need to start telling them and let them know that you're interested in what they're doing. You're interested in having your area clean. And there's nothing wrong when you go to America, you go to around the place and you see what they're doing there. People don't take the garbage and throw it out in the road, and he said, let me blame the government today. Let me blame the NDC for not doing the job. The change, the better of this country is going to come when you start changing your attitude. And I'm saying this to all Guyana. I'm saying this because of the pandemic. I'm saying this in terms of don't depend on the government for a handout. Yes, we need a better oil deal. That's going to come. But if you throw your garbage out there, how do you intend it to happen? And you say, look at how dirty this place is. This is why you could go into some communities and you would see a level of standard, a level of living there that you say, wow, I wish to live in Bel Air. I wish to live in some place. This is why you could go into some area and you're going to see people cleaning in front of the yard. What is wrong with you on a Saturday morning coming out and maybe brushing around that? It is something, keep your neighbor. It starts a little, though you don't need to go to the next street to clean it. Clean in front by your area. Clean around your area. Keep it. You could do something like that. But if you don't do it and then you complain, oh, the NDC is not doing something. It doesn't take long for you to take a broom and just sweep out your bridge or something, or to weed it out. It starts with us. It starts with you. It starts with me. It starts with the little neighbor that's next door there. If every street could take it, let us make it. If I'm not sure, the NDCs need to probably start, let's give a best street competition. And if every neighbor, there's a chairperson there that can come together, look, this week here, we're going to clean up our street. Let us do something. And if you know that your neighbor is a little old, and the person can't manage. I mean, we could come together with a couple $100 and let a be the man come and do something to keep the street in a level condition. There's things that we could do. We need to be innovative. We need to take our initiative. And so these are not things that I went far in school to learn. I learned, I learned that over the years. Experience tell us you read. We read in the wrong things. Many of us are on Facebook all the time. What you need to do is look at good examples how some countries are solving the problems. Go to CNN and BBC how some communities are dealing with pandemic. How parents who are at home dealing with the children who are also at home. There's a lot of pressure on parents right now. How do the North American parents deal with their parents? There's a lot of stress because you got to go. You have mortgage on your head. You have so many things. How do you deal with it? We need to educate ourselves how we could lift our standards so it doesn't all depend on the government. While I could be talking to you here and you said, yes, you could talk about it, Gildarie, because you seem to be in a better position. No, no. You don't know what my position is. You don't know how difficult it is that I have to survive from month to month. You don't know all of that. You don't know my expenses. While you might believe your expenses are a little, you don't know what I have to pay for and what it costs and the hours that I put in and those kind of things. When I have to work and the fan got to be on all the time and the computer is on and I'm boarding up in the corner of the house there because the sun is turned in that corner. It is very, very, it is very, very difficult. So let's go back to those callers on the line. Yes, good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. And
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon.
yes, sir. Go right
I'm
ahead.
calling from Enmore.
And more, how you doing?
I do, Anand Prasad, and I like some word and some intelligent word that you put out. There is some nice commander and nice people, of course. We do have nice people in the office, but some of the nice people make you turn bad, Because when you go to them to sit with them to say something very intelligent,
Uh-huh.
they turn your story. Can you see what happened to Jesus Christ? When Jesus Christ, they couldn't pray, they couldn't do him anything more than put him to the law. And when they put him to the law, he crucified. Now you have injustice in that part here. Now this time here, we do have injustice. When it comes to all these nice people, them nice voice, nice words, and nothing are been coming out clearly. Now, this thing here, with Anand Prasad, my year he going on for, and people know how to go to the police, and for turn and twist it, and all of them from Covent and even to the commissioner, and every step I take, and every footstep I made, I talk clearly and clearly, because you know why I am saying that? I say again, I am 53 years. I know what I passed through when it comes to police. This police, like somebody from the commissioner level, are not making some options, you know what I mean? So because somebody cover up for somebody along the system. And I know that is true. Because first of all, the commander says that is his staff. Then you can allow criminals to act. We citizens have rights. We must not overcome. Police can point a gun to you. You can't point a gun to them. Where is the law for these people then? When them say farm yourself in community and these are pink people will tell you, yes, he bad, he good, he ugly. If somebody got a problem, I know that you can serve it. But over the year, there's a lot of people listening. There's lies and there is truth. And police are throwing the matter. Turn it when you're on the right side and turn it to the other side. Right? Cover up for these crocodiles. I will use the word crocodile. Because a dunce man can tell the bright one in the office how they turn and twist the issue. You want to tell me, if people come in the Elmore here and walk from house to house and attack and ask about the sergeant out here, how to disrespectful and discriminate. When I went to the police complaint and attack...
This matter is before the court at the moment, right?
Huh?
The matter is before the court?
Why should take it to court? Because you forced the
No.
document.
Hold on, Ms. Annan. Is the matter before the court?
No, there is no charge for COVID-19. And then is it she mix...
No,
she
is there
mix up
a
the bread and
matter? Is
sardines
there a
together.
matter before the court right now with regards to
That
you
is
and her?
unlawful because that is not a
No,
charge.
I'm asking you a very simple question,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
If the matter is before
Yes,
the court,
she
you
first-
hold on,
first-
Chief.
Yes.
if the matter is before the court, you and I are barred from discussing it here. We could talk about any other thing. Let's don't discuss it. I could
But
get in trouble
these
for
are the
that.
things what we're talking about. When we're talking about it earlier before,
No, no, no. But if the matter is before the court right now, you and I can
why?
discuss.
Same thing I say, Mr. Kenlard.
No, no.
The,
Listen to me.
the same thing I
There's a
say that
law.
people crucify innocently.
No, no. You and I could talk about any other thing under the sun. We cannot talk about that
Oh
particular
yes,
case.
we can talk anything, yes.
Right.
But they need to do things in the and more police. If we have a committee inside here, if someone of them family, right, then read the situation like that, I mean, don't clear it and clear it before you reach here, right? So some people is working. When we're talking about community development, we need every single thing to put clearly. And me don't side with no wrongdoing.
I hear you.
No bribery or non-cover-up for nobody.
Yes.
And then the law must be the law, and the law should not be victimize anyone. If you put in the NDC, you have to do it in the right way. The CDC.
I agree with you.
whatever.
The systems
But
must
at set
work.
time,
Right.
at set time, you cannot please every single body at a set time right away. There is option.
Yes.
People can benefit on it.
Thank you very much, Ms. Annan, and thank you for joining us as usual.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but I like how a lot of people switch off from the police, though. They like to switch off from the police because the police like to victimize people.
Well, you know, I don't tolerate that. I put it down for the police. I don't make
that's
joke
the
with
reason
them.
I don't tolerate it. That's what I'm talking. I'm talking clearly and clear.
Right.
So the world can understand it's not Jesus Christ anymore. It's the people penalty on me. When them Sister Tom, he died for our sin. They are the sinner who in the office advertise and victimize other rest of people when they are being paid to do a job, subsidize it. And I know people paid to do wicked job. Use Guyana police force to do that.
Thank you very much.
Listen. Within the part of that, I would like the Minister of Home Affairs to intervene to all the station, investigate. Let residents come out and speak. When residents come out and speak, they are totally victimized by the sergeant. Right? And for one, I will stand up and when I know something is true. That sergeant was announcing about
Again, you're going
COVID-19.
back to the thing. We don't go back to that sergeant. That sergeant is not the
Let me
issue
rest
here.
the sergeant. And let me say,
Okay.
make an announcement. That is good for the pandemic.
Right.
Right?
Uh-huh.
It's very good make an announcement. But I want to know where she get that law from. Or which one the police give her that law for say, non-business must not open, especially rum shop.
Uh-huh.
Well, if people must survive, if it's takeaway, how all the Chinese restaurants selling? And you're going to pick up what you want. Right? So these
Very
are
good point. Right.
victimization. Let me tell you something. Some people get rum shops, some people get takeaways. Nobody like a restaurant working at Enmore and some various places. And some police, when they come and see you there, whatever be case, even to your yard, you got to pay them $10,000. There's a big magistrate court. Right? You got to get see eyewitness and whatever be case. That is the biggest judge court where they and more there. And they need to do something. And if the committee are siding with it because they're scared of some issue, I mean, no, it is. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And so, right about now, we also hearing that there's a major fire at the CARICOM Auto in Lusignan going on right now. I want to say hello to Chandra Narain and, of course, my dear friend there. How you doing? They're from Florida, and they're back and forth between Guyana and Florida. So I want to say good day to Chandra. How you doing there? And my dear friend, and you know who you are. I want to say good day to you. So there is, yes, Shervin, there is a fire ongoing right now. Let me just tell him. Shervin, there's a fire ongoing at the CARICOM. I'm sending it to you. So there's a fire ongoing right now at the CARICOM Auto Sales there. I think it is on the east coast of Demerara. So let's hope that everybody is good there, that everybody is safe. I don't know. It's Lusignan, I think it is. Lusignan, yes. Lusignan, CARICOM. I'm sending it to my folks, CARICOM Auto. And I hope that everybody is safe. This is not news that you like. So, in essence, come back to what that gentleman would have said there. Has a good point, has some good points there. We have to clean up as we see it. Everybody would have their side of the story to tell. But when you see it, who sees it or who experiences it, they could be able to tell you. They could be able to tell you what it means. And so, sometimes we have to see it through the eyes of others for us to have an understanding what is happening here. So I do hear it, and this is the show, the Wake Up Guyana show on Kaieteur Radio, where we take it doesn't matter where you come from in Guyana, it does not matter how small the issues are. We are going to listen to you, keep it within good taste, and let's keep it within the regulations. And we are going to be listening to you. We're not shutting out anybody. I don't have the authority to do that. What I could do is keep it within good taste. Hi, good afternoon, son. I tell you something. Once you see someone get a job like with the NDC, GPL, GWI, GT&T, just to name a few, we the people go to them with a little problem. Oh my God, they had so much to say. Not everybody is like you. I always say to people, it's not what you say, but how you say it. People need to think if there was in you and you were them, and I understand what you were saying there. Thank you very much for those thoughts there. We have to be very cognizant. We have to be very responsible when people come to you. You don't know the circumstances and they're there to complain. My family would say to me, man, you could really talk a lot on that phone. I said I didn't even know I could talk so much on radio because you're here. But when you listen to some of what the people, what they're saying, what they're complaining about, you get angry and you have to really want to help them because you don't you it's older folks, the people who are not in a position to help themselves. Maybe when they did try to reach out to the authorities, to the ones that who are supposed to be helping them, those persons don't listen. So if you have the possibility and you could help somebody, try to do it, and you don't have to say, let me take a picture of you afterwards to show the world what I've done for you. You don't need to do that. You could very quietly help somebody. I would tell my friends, if you send in something or you donated something, and I do that, I torment some of my friends. And a good day to Arnold down in Florida. And I would torment them, but I said, don't expect me to send you any pictures. If you do that, you're taking your eyes and past me. I can't do that. I would give you the numbers to the people that I would be thinking, and you pick up the phone and you call them and ask them what kind of help or the help that you would have gotten, whether it has benefited you, and how are you going about it. You can do that, but don't expect me to take any pictures that I've handed over something, or don't expect me to be publishing it elsewhere or anywhere. I see people would come into the country, they hand over some masks to a couple of people, and they want it to end up in the newspaper. Do it and do it very quietly. I mean, I could understand big organizations doing it for the PR or whatever. An individual, do it thing quietly. You want to help something, you don't need a big publicity to say that, yes, I've given 5,000 masks to the police. I mean, I don't know. That's my thoughts only. Good afternoon, Leonard. I'm alone, but I clean in front of my yard. Some people just throw all the garbage in front of my house every time, and me got to clean it. So thank you very much for that. That's what I've been talking about. Charity begins at home. And so we have to get it fixed. We have to start somewhere. Good afternoon, Leonard. Mondripo market now very nasty inside the market. Outside the market is very filthy as well. What are you guys doing? Don't they have a cleaner? Don't they have a cleaning crew around these markets? They're supposed to. So if you're not keeping it clean, are we paying fees for that? We need to do that. One of two doctors living at the cotton tree is at home every day after 12, attending to his clinic. Do doctors work half day only? Which hospital are they working in? We need to have names of these people. If it is that you're supposed to be at a hospital and you're not, they know you're supposed to be working. There's a way. I'm not sure, especially at the public hospitals. We need to have, these stories that are coming out now. I don't have answers to them. I'm not sure what the procedures at the hospital is. But at the hospitals, they're supposed to be supervisors and so on. Where is the supervisor? These doctors are supposed to be working. If you're supposed to be working, you're supposed to be signing in and out of a timesheet because at the end of the day, there's a human resources department or there's a personnel department who's supposed to be making up a pay. And if you're going half day, it means that the supervisor there or the human resources department at the hospital is not doing the work. Or is there a run-ins that is happening? Somebody getting paid? We don't know. So this is a very good point that's raised by somebody down in the Berbice area there. Doctors going home half day from the hospital and conducting their own clinics. Mr. Gildarie, in Islam it say that anything that's bothering the neighbor like trees, cut it down to avoid the problem. Yes, you're right. You know what? I'm gonna have to cut down my neighbor tree and see what happens from there. Luziknan, just before the market, somebody said that's where the fire is. So let's go back to the lines. We want to take those calls. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air? Go right ahead. Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air?
Hi, good afternoon. How
Good.
are you doing today?
Pretty good, ma'am. Go right ahead.
Oh, I'm just calling to say you keep up the great job that you're doing. I'm calling from Luluni.
La Luni area there. Yes, I did talk to somebody there. Well, somebody keeps sending me message about what's happening. How many homes are in the Luni area there?
Maybe about 100 plus.
And they're scattered or they close to each other?
Some are close, some are a few distance away.
So it would be very expensive to run lights in that area, or is it better to put
Yeah, it
solar?
will be. That's why we don't have.
So maybe if they put the solar, it's gonna help somewhat.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna is there one Laluni area? Or there's more than one Laluni.
It's one village. It's not a very big village.
I'm going to reach out right away, immediately after the show here, to the Prime Minister, Mark Phillips, as well as to the Minister of Public Works, the ministers, and maybe see whether there's any kind of help. Because these things, if it's just 100 solar, maybe there's something they could very well do very quickly. Some of these areas are
Okay.
small.
I think you should visit. You have lots of fruits and vegetables awaiting you.
All right, thank you very much, my dear. One of these days, when I get a chance, gonna come there. All right.
Okay, thank you very much.
God bless you. To the people down in the Luni area there, I want to say a good day. And if you're hearing us loud and clear, it's along the Linden, Susdike Linden Highway. It's a beautiful area. It's a very beautiful area. There are lots of creeks, and if you see the people, they're friendly people. And I go into the back there, I think it's an area called Swan. We go there very regularly, every couple of months and so, and we meet with the people there. And it's so friendly, but there's some stories to be told. Some of those areas, forgotten areas, as I would say. I think the president would have gone and visit some areas along the Susike Linden Highway just after he was sworn into office. I know that they did share out some stuff, but I'm not sure if Swan and Looney was part of it. But I'm going to raise this issue here with the ministers, the relevant ministers, and I would send it to them and say, could you please look into it? And start. Thanks to you guys, I've started to become a bully because when I don't hear back, I said, did you go to that area? Then I'll call them back. The people keep calling me and they keep saying that they're not seeing any ministers, and I think some conscience would bite them. And so you have some ministers right now are on the ball. The minute that you tell them, they're going to call you back. Do you have a number for this person? You're making it very difficult for me. I could tell you what Susan Rodriguez, as a Minister of Housing, would have said. I sent her some information. I said, this area is complaining, or Prospect is complaining about, the condition there. Could you get a number? You're making it very difficult for me, You're going to send a number so I could be able to help these people. So you have it there. We want to help. So what you could do is when you have these things, um, uh, when you have kind of situations and I have to send it to the ministers, put right away the minister could probably get onto these numbers here. This number here, let her contact or him contact these numbers here if they need some other information. And so like Laluni, when you do it, you send me those information. I'd be able to send the number. But Laluni is it's an area, and so if they're gonna come there, it's close to each other, the homes, so they could come there and probably make an assessment. I'm going to ask the minister to come to that area there. So we have roughly about 20 minutes to 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to ask Raj. Let's go back to those. Let's go back right away to the callers on the line so we could probably read some other messages in the meantime. Let's go back. Is there a caller on the line? Good afternoon, caller. You on the air. Go right ahead.
Hi, Leonard. Good afternoon, and how are you?
Pretty good. It's Friday. How are you doing?
I am okay. This is the first time I call into your program, but I listen to your program every day.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I call you for tell you, for ask you something, if you could help me out.
Yes.
My mom last week Sunday night, my mom get a stroke in her head, on she left side.
Yes.
The whole one side dead, and she get this. She went to the hospital, so the public hospital. And she get discharged yesterday, and she can't walk. And I call you for ask you if you could help out if you get a wheelchair for she.
A wheelchair, very easy. You know what? Let me take your number right away now. Give me this number.
You want my number?
Yeah, give me your number, And give me a name,
Six,
and I'm going to work on it right away.
okay. 655
Uh-huh.
11 8320.
655.
655 8320. Yes.
All right, ma'am. As soon as the show is finished, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to make arrangements. I'm going to call somebody and twist their hands behind the back, and let's see what
Yes.
happens, right?
I live in Marriage Lodge and the Essequibo Coast.
Maria's Lodge, Essequibo Coast?
Yeah, Marriage Lodge and the Essequibo Coast.
Essequibo Coast. All right, my
Yes.
dear.
And,
What's your name? What's your name?
Leonard, listen one more thing. I hear you talk something just now too. That your neighbor cherry tree go in and gone over by you place, right? And when you talk,
The
your
Vex.
neighbor vex. Well, I have the same problem here. Me neighbor fence yard, and he got some big battery tree. I grow at the fence corner coming over by we side. And when we talk now, here where he got on and tell me, go to the station. You see how some people bully?
I sometimes I say, man, send the neighbors next to me, let them come live, man. Because
Yes.
I start getting rude, You guys teaching me to be rude. I start telling people exactly as it is. But let me see what happens. But thank you very much for that.
Yes, and must please call me back now. Because my mom is a poor lady,
Uh-huh.
and she children and too.
Yes. Thank you very much, dear ma'am.
Yes, thank you very much.
Good. God bless. Bye bye. So we have one of the viewers, listeners onto the program here, and she's saying that Raghunandan Singh, and he was a councillor down in the Suzac Linden Highway there, and they would have coordinated many social activities since 2015 to present on behalf of the PPPC. Swan Village, also Laloni, would have been 2 areas that benefited from these activities. Thank you very much, dear Priya Prasad Jagdeo. And so, yes, I know Raghunandan, very hard worker, very good campaigner in that area there, doing a lot of stuff, uplifting the lives of those people. It wasn't so much political work, but a lot of council work, and you don't have to be political to be a councillor. Councillor could be able to be an independent and be able to do so many things in those areas. And we got to start seeing some independent people. You don't have to join any political party. Run as an independent, or you could ask them, could I represent you as an independent, or could I be part of a political party and be independent, or something could happen where you could do so much work that could help our people. So I want to say good day to Natalia, Ariana, Charlie, and she says, Gildarie, my children, doing the homework and listen to your program. We enjoy it every day. Great job. I want to say wherever you are, all to the factory workers, to the store owners, to all the workers there, I want you to uplift your lives today. This life here is about how we make it. And if you want to make, I think it was Trump that says, let's make America great again. There was a fly on the head of Pence the other night. So today I want to say to you guys, let's don't bother with Trump today. We're talking about Guyana. We want to say, let's make Guyana great. Because we've been talking about great. We've been talking about potential of this country over the years. Let's realize it. It's about time. We have oil. We have some of the best oil, the biggest oil find in the world. You need to put your foot down. You need to start demanding. You need to understand your right. You need to take charge of your neighborhood. You need to start keeping your house clean. You need to start keeping your yard clean. Keep around your neighborhood. Start sharing with your neighbors. Start living a life that is godly. Let us don't, start living selfish life that, you see a couple kids run across the street there and they're bare chested and they're not, every day, and you look at them with pity and you lift not a finger to help them. Let us do a little. What is happening? What is happening here? Could we ask? Because if you don't start paying attention to those people, they're going to be very well turn out to be the bad eggs in the neighborhood. Let's start, nipping it in the bud very early. Pay attention. Let's care a little. That's what Michael Jackson says. Heal this world. Let us start paying attention. Start loving ourselves. Start loving our neighbors. It is not only godly, but it is also, I think, as a human being, you would not want that to happen to your children. You would not want that to happen to your family. You would not want that to happen to your cousins, and you would not want that to happen to your friends. Why are you allowing it, if you have the means and the capacity, allowing it to happen to your neighbors? Don't do that. Don't do that. Let us do something to uplift ourselves. So wherever you are, if you're in the cars, if you're at home, I hope that we've been uplifting in our words, our encouragement here today. It's a Wake Up Guyana show. We want you to wake up your soul as we head into another weekend. It's 100 deaths so far. It's 100 deaths. 2 more persons. One younger than myself. How old are you, WR Riaz in the studio?
I didn't walk with my ID card or
Uh-huh.
birth certificate with me, so I will not be able to answer that question.
But he is behaving like Pence, that vice president there, flicking and
I
diverting
am
from the
going to
questions.
divert from Gildarie's question. Good afternoon. I want to know, the people in Leluni, when they give you the fruits, I hope I get in the fruits from you.
Well, I don't know. You like getting into people's business, but what
I
can
would
tell
like
you,
to know that you
what I
get
can-
promised fruits in Leluni. Well, listen, Raj, we'll hold him accountable. If you go to Leluni, it means you got to bring stuff for us as well.
All right, if I get there, the people says lots of fruits. I mean, I
No,
can fill the trunk. I can come. I can come back.
I'm sure they'll send lots of fruits.
I can imagine. So we are going to be there. So we have like about 10 minutes thereabouts, and we are going to be headed to the lines in a very short while. But why I ask your age, it has not because I want to get into your business. Because a 43-year-old is the latest in the two deaths that we have, and we've touched 100.
Yeah.
And this is saddening me so much that we've actually 100 persons have got to this. Could we have avoided it? Those are the kind of things I'm asking myself. Is it that
individuals play a role at the end of the day? I could preach it, I could talk it. I think individuals play a role at the end of the day, as it is when it comes to COVID.
I'm going to be calling a minister. This is a lucky day for minister. We have to find a wheelchair. And we have to find a minister who's going to give it to somebody in Escobar Coast.
Remember last time they had minister of boats, they have a minister of wheelchair now?
I don't care, but somebody
I just asked.
I don't really care. I'm going to be asking for a wheelchair, and somebody got to find a wheelchair and give it to me, because when I hear stories like this, I want to say there's a big fire going on. I think at
CARICOM, CARICOM Auto Sales.
What happened is, oh my, that's a building there with some nice cars in front.
Sales Spears. So
Spears.
Mainly the Spear Department, from what I'm hearing, but millions of dollars is going
No,
up.
no, you don't want that. You don't want that. It's somebody with staffers and so on.
What I want to know, right, is how did the Guyanese critic reach on the scene before the fire truck?
Probably lit the fire. I want to say good day to my good friend, Michael Rodriguez. How you doing, my friend?
I wonder how Michael reached on the scene before the fire truck.
He probably lived there. He lived somewhere up there. I got to find out. He lives in the area.
But the last I saw, it was the house next door to it, was a wooden house. I don't know, I haven't seen it in 30 minutes back. They were trying to protect that house as it is. That is very sad. Monies are lost and jobs will be lost as it is with that. We've seen 2 lives lost this morning on a road that I've been preaching a whole lot.
Yes, there was an accident. There was 2 accidents. How many accidents?
1 accident on a road that I've been preaching and talking, and some persons may just say, WR does talking nonsense, he does talking about the road and road. No, but every day I use the East Coast Road, I see the dangers of the road.
Aha! Let me stop you right there and then. You're 37 years old.
Whoever gave you that, they must be wrong and all.
I don't know, but a good day, Block 3. And they don't know what your age is, but what they complain about, they're saying Block 3 New Providence has no paved streets, just the main road. The loam roads have huge holes, and many empty lands have overgrown bushes. Also, New Providence needs school. But let me tell you guys, if you're taking the people land and you say you want to build and you speculate and you sit down on it, give it to somebody. Why are you holding on to the people land? You need to build on it. So I think the Ministry of Housing need to start cracking down. People need lands, and there's situations where people who already have properties have lands elsewhere because of some run-ins. We need to track down on this and crack down on it and give it to the people if we can't build on it, and maybe find some other ways. There's ways out there you could find out. If Riaz, Raj, you need a piece of land? You have a Guyanese passport? How you gonna get it?
No.
Might get yourself together. I don't know. I'm just teasing Rats, man. Rats is going to become. And are you found the girl? Are you going to settle down or something? Larky. Have you found the Larky?
Both Kubsarat Larky.
Okay, I don't know about all that. Have you found the Larky? I'm going to learn these things. He has a way of pronouncing these words. And I don't want to say something and then it means something else, and then somebody says that question up on radio, right? Acha. He said acha. I think that's okay, right?
Okay.
Okay. So, could we take some calls right now? Good day, calling you on the Wake Up Guyana show. Okay, we missed that. It's 226-7453. We want to push in at least 2 more calls or so thereabouts, and we want to hear from our people. 226-7453. You tuned into the Wake Up Guyana show. Your host, Leonard Gildarie, and we in the studio here with WR Riaz and Raj.
Something you were to tell us about yesterday, that when we wrapped the program up, what it was.
I don't know. I think you're trying to pick
No, Raj, he did tell us about something yesterday. He was going to tell us about it today. And I was I can't remember. Was it something that you eat, something that you cook, other than the balanji and other than yes. No, we did know the story about the balanji and biscuit.
Oh, I did tell him.
Yeah.
Let me tell the story because he
Yeah.
wanted to take. So I had none to eat, yes. Well, I didn't like what was there. I didn't want to open any sardines or anything. And there was some, I went into the fridge, and the fridge had balanja choco, and there was some crackers there,
Balanji, choco,
and there was
crackers.
there was a boiled pepper in the balanja choco, and I took the crackers and I said, let me try this, and it tastes actually good with tea, and so I mean, I don't know. The guys found it funny. There's one.
No. You knock yourself out. You good there.
All right, good. Is there
You
call
good
online,
there.
Raj? Could you get somebody? Yes, caller. Good afternoon. You on the air? Could you lower your volume on your radio right away, please? The radio is on. Lower the volume on your radio, please. Hello.
They'll have to call back.
You'd have to call back because you need to get. If you call, make sure that your volume on your radio is down. So 2267453. Got a couple minutes. The big news is that Roxanne.
I turned on my radio, man, but no, I now get with you.
All right,
We're
thanks.
listening to
Go
you.
ahead,
We're
my
listening
brother.
to you.
Go
Go
right
ahead.
ahead.
I'm calling from Rosal, man.
Yeah, Rose Hall. How you doing?
Tongue or kanji?
Well, I'm fine, but it's just that I listen to your program every day,
Yes, sir.
and the same complaint, each and everybody giving everybody.
Well, yeah, the complaints has to be
neighbor job.
consistent, right?
Yeah, but we got to look into them things, especially in Borby C.
Uh-huh.
Especially in Borby's, we got to really look into something serious, especially in Rosal, because the council, they been doing nothing proper for this tongue.
Mm-hmm. And this is Rosal Tongue. Rosal Tongue you call it
Yeah,
from.
Rosal tongue, boss.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
What I think I'm going to say to you is after you would have hung up, I'm going to tell you, as guides, start understanding the rights, start understanding what your representatives, what is it that they do, what are some of the duties. When you understand that and understand that you, as the person who put them in there, have so much powers, then you're going to start exercising those powers. So I want to make sure that you understand that.
Yeah, I understand that, but still you go into the authority, they just watch at you and like a slap in the face.
No. What you got to start writing these people up, man. You got to be a bad man. They had some people call me about the housing scheme this morning. I got to go check it out because they're saying, these are business people who retired and living in comfort right now. And little things, that affect them like water and maybe something else that somebody picking up garbage affects them because they expect a certain level of living. So you see what happens when you start understanding some of the rights, and I guess I'm talking generally because there's some people who don't have access to some of those areas.
I know the right. My old man was a former councillor of Rosal Town, but still, when I go into them, they're always pushing me around and telling me this and telling me that.
Mm-hmm.
I know the rights. I know the rights in Rosal.
Right. All right.
Yeah, fine.
So let us continue. So the Rosal, they need to do a little better thing up there. So I want to say good day. You guys have a wonderful market up there, man. I love it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, dear. So I want to say good day to the Barbies people, number 58 Village, the lady who would say, I keep forgetting or I can't understand why I must remember number 8, but number 58. But I'm going to remember it because
Probably
it's on
get
the
something
quarantine.
from fruits again from the
Yeah,
people.
it's got to be
Mr.
something.
Glenlal, he's taking
it's not
fruits as bribe.
It's not fruits. He says fowl and duck and things like that.
Mr. Glenlal, he is taking bribe.
I hope it's not a black fowl. Somebody talking about the black fowl.
Two balanji, a black fowl,
All right.
a white
All right,
mice.
so let's get it very right there. So it's a weekend here. It's a Wake Up Guyana show. And if you missed this program here, you could look at it again on YouTube, Kaieteur Radio live stream. You could also get us on Kaieteur Radio on Facebook. And we have so many other ways that you could get us to the Radio Garden, I think, Tune app. I think.
Radio Garden.
Right, I think I'm getting it right there. So it is the weekend once again, and it's such a beautiful day, and I don't want to part company. Unfortunately, Riaz is here, and Riaz is going to make sure that he keeps you company. The people talking about the eggplant, potato, very good too with sada roti. Baby is talking about
Balanje
that.
choco, eggplant.
No, hold on, this is what she's saying there. Now you understand, balanje choco. Baigan choco.
Baigan choco, eggplant and roti.
Be very proud of what you have.
You
know, long ago when
eggplant and
when
roti.
we
Well,
go to
nah,
school-
man, normally serve there.
when we were going to school, there's some people who's scared to talk. We don't want to talk about baigan and things like that. You
You ever
talk
wear
about
yatin
eggplant.
boots? You ever wear yatin boots
Of
to
course,
school?
I grew up very
Oh.
poor. I know about these things.
I grow yatin boots, big boy. I just asking you. I just asking you.
Just one time I got mad with mom. Mom bought me a sandals, and I said I wanted yatin boots.
No,
And,
me yatin boots never lose out, so them things strong. I
oh,
had yatin
remember
boots.
you used to wash it and then put black polish in it?
Well, for sure, I could remember the polish days, but like my yatin boots was a strong one from Batama because me think the last long.
The
Yeah,
story here is, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to a close on this program, be very proud of your country.
Oh, yeah.
Be very proud of the culture.
Very culture where you grow up from.
Right, so we're not
gotta be-
afraid. We can
it's
say it. I
fine.
love this country. This is the best country in the world. And
No
Mr.
one
Glenn, I
can
like coming
stop
to you. I
you.
hope that you downstairs have some things to whisper in your ears. It
Today's
has to
Friday.
do something with the salary. I don't know.
Salary.
I think.
So you're getting special pay to
No.
be on the day off.
No.
And working.
It is time to lobby to the boss and says, boss, I need some more
Yeah,
money.
well then, Mr.
Things
Lal,
like
I
that.
gotta get some extra money because if this man getting extra pay for work on
Hey, calm
vacation,
yourself down.
I just trying to see if I could get something too. Want
This
me
is
to-
Gildarie permanent staff. You're just a...
I just a
prisoner.
temporary staff. I'm looking for get something here too as well. You know what I'm saying?
Right, just thinking. So it is the Wake Up Guyana show. Thank you very much, folks, for joining us. So we think we got a little sidetracked here, but it is good to talk about our country and the beautiful country that we have here. And know your rights. Start demanding a better oil deal. Guess what? That would make this country so much better. And if you're talking about the help in your communities, we could pay our policemen a little better. We could do something for our nurses. We could pay our pensioners a little better. You know, so many things that we could do. Let's start being very much aware. So wherever you joined us from, I want to say thank you very much. And the children are doing the homework and then listen to Kaieteur Radio. Do not switch those dials. We have WR Riaz coming up very shortly, and he is entertaining as heck. I'm going to be in the car and I'm going to be listening to him because this is your number one radio, Kaieteur Radio, 99.1, 99.5 if you're catching us in Berbice. Have a pleasant rest of the day, a good weekend to you guys, and you guys have forced me to come out of my house to be with you, but I could have not have wanted it any other way.
It's a side money getting, you know, Raj. I'm thinking
it's not side money.
it's a side hustle. I gotta get a word, Uncle Lal, you know.
Yeah, it's not side money. It's just
You
that
put in-
you know what I did to him?
Uh-huh.
He says, I don't have any money to pay you on the radio because we haven't started taking advertising yet. I said, could you give me less work, Dr. Says? And I sneaked up there. So he says, I haven't seen you in the department for a couple of weeks. I said, you know that I'm upstairs. Have you been listening to the radio? Because if you don't read the newspaper and you go to one of his meetings, he said, have you read the newspaper? Yes. So whenever I see him, did you listen to your radio? He says, well, you know, I was a little busy, but I did listen to your part. You should do such and such a thing, you know, talk about this oil. So I did talk about oil, Mr. Glenn Lal. So thank you very much, sir. Have a pleasant rest of the day, folks. And you guys stay safe.
Waiting for me to bring you up on the radio. A day.
We are going to bring him. We are going to bring him. He
Waiting
says,
for
let me
him.
get my act together. He's a little busy right now. So in the meantime, have a pleasant rest of the
Take
weekend.
care.
It's very enjoyable today. And stay safe.
Stay locked.
safe.
Stay locked to Kaieteur.
Stay safe, folk. I want you to be joining us back next week. Until.
Jumping up every day, and I jumping up every night. I think it's back and it's energy to unload. Behind that truck down the road, details going to explode. Tropical delight, tropical delight, pure taste and pure delight.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.